certified nutter Howling Mad Murdock was the super-skilled pilot capable of flying absolutely anything.
This thing is supposed to fly?
I got no fear. I'll go up in anything except an elevator.
But Murdock nearly didn't make the series, as TV execs were going to give him the boot halfway through filming the first episode.
We shall make the skies safe for Mumsy, Daddy and Buckingham. God save the Queen!
Why were they going to fire you?
They thought I was over the top. And I am over the top. I mean, you know, I'm an overactor. I go in that direction.
Right.
I'm up there. I'm intense. And they thought it was too intense, too over the top, too much. And, but they changed their minds.
Yeah.
Brandon Tartikoff called my agent and said, Dwight's dials are really good.
What does that mean?
The dials are, they test the show, and they literally, the audience is there with a dial. And when you like the character, you turn it all the way to the right, and when you don't, turn it all the way to the left. And my dials were off the charts. Even when they just heard my voice, he said, they turn the dials all the way to the right.
They'd crank it right up.
Right, so then they wrote me back in.
So, Dwight, do you remember when you found out who your fellow actors were going to be playing the parts?
Oh, yes.
Now, obviously, I would imagine you were well aware of Peppard.
Well, to realize I was going to work with Peppard and it was just a thrill. And I walked into the trailer, the makeup trailer, the first time. And I said, Mr. Peppard, my name is Dwight Schultz, how are you? He says, yes, I am George Peppard, and I'm not a very nice man. That is, so help me God, that is what he said to me.
His opening line to you.
I am George Peppard, and I'm not a very nice man.
When I was a kid watching this show, I remember the stories would occasionally come out that maybe you all didn't get along.
Yeah, I think he was a movie star.
Yeah.
George was a movie star, and I mean it in the best and worst sense. I'll tell you, this is George in a nutshell. If you had a gun on the set, George would look at the gun, he'd walk off and come back with a bigger one. Really? Just slightly, right.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, but that's, movie stars are Hollywood is a place of ego. And I think it created a lot of problems and tensions between George and T.
Did they not get on?
Not later, they didn't. I don't think George ever accepted the fact that T was the star of the show.
Do you think Mr. T really was the big star of the show?
I think he was the draw. I think T was the big draw. There was no question about it. He was very famous, and people wanted to see what Mr. T was going to be doing on television.
And do you think that narked Peppard, he couldn't really get his head around the fact that here was George Peppard, an old Hollywood star.
Right, that's right.
Who's this new guy with the crazy fool and the mohawk and the chains?
That's right. I think George was the movie star and the actor, and he wanted to be the star of the A-Team.
So I'm going to go after Mr. T, obviously, because I would like Mr. T to be part of this, reunification of the A-Team.
Yes.
The odds of getting him involved are probably long.
Probably.
I'm going to be somewhat intimidated because...
Very.
I suppose the question is, is he as intimidating off camera?
He can be.
Really?
Yes, he can be. He could also be very sweet.
Is he quite easy to upset?
Well, I wouldn't say upset. I mean, he just won't talk to you. He just dismisses you. He can be very dismissive.
Really?
Yeah.
Dwight Schultz, you're a legend. Howling Mad Murdock, everybody, come on! I love you. I love you. You're my favourite. You were my favourite.
Okay.
Can you just touch my dials?
Yes.